You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. FBI is holding a news conference as we speak in Minneapolis regarding the death of George Floyd. Let's go right to it.
The attorney's office are moving as quickly and thoroughly as possible. I've also been in direct consultations with Governor Tim Walz, with Attorney General Keith Ellison, and others in the state, the city, and the county through discussions on this case. As many of you know, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office is one of very few prosecution offices in the United States who have successfully charged and convicted and obtained a guilty verdict against a police officer for unreasonable use of deadly force. We have developed a detailed plan for that prosecution, and with the BCA, a detailed plan for investigation. Our office has been flooded with calls, many as 1,000 a day, as well as email and social media from people in this jurisdiction, in this state, and throughout the country. The main question is, what are you going to do about the murder of George Floyd? Well, I've just described what we're going to do. We are going to investigate it as expeditiously, as thoroughly, and completely as justice demands. Sometimes that takes a little time, and we ask people to be patient. We have to do this right, and that's what we'll do. I also want to tell you that our office has led the nation in openness on these types of cases. When we decide to charge an officer, we put the criminal complaint on our website. If we decide that the evidence does not support a criminal charge, we put our report and all our evidence on the website for all to see. When we make the decision in this case, we will do the same. What I can assure the citizens of Minnesota, we will do it as quickly as we can do it as possible. We'll do it as quickly as possible. I think Drew Evans from the BCA is next. Drew?
Thank you, County Attorney Freeman. My name is Drew Evans. I am the Superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. First, I'd like to share with my colleagues here in expressing my deepest thoughts and sympathies to the family of George Floyd, the heartbreak that they're going through in the community as a whole. This is a difficult time for our entire community as they mourn his death. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension began this investigation immediately after this incident occurred when we were contacted by the Minneapolis Police Department. Agents were deployed, including our crime scene, immediately began gathering evidence, talking to witnesses, and then working immediately with the County Attorney's Office, discussing our findings and what we had at that time. Next, over the night, as was indicated, the FBI was contacted. I spoke with Chief Arredondo. He informed me he was contacting them, and that was a contact we all welcome in this process. We're working very collaboratively together through this process. Our agents are working closely together. We've deployed numerous resources. We brought in agents from all over the state, recognizing the importance of an expeditious, quick investigation that is still thorough, independent, and unbiased by all of our organizations. Those findings will be turned over to the county attorney on the state side and on the federal side, as noted, to the United States Attorney's Office. The same thing we share as the FBI did. We want any citizen, anybody who was there that witnessed this event, that has information that would be helpful to our investigation, to either call the FBI tips line or 651-793-7000, which is the BCA Operations Center. My perspective is we want citizens to go wherever they are most comfortable, whichever line they are, so that we get all of the information in this case so we can conduct the most thorough investigation possible. And with that, I think we'll turn it over to the U.S. Attorney and County Attorney for questions.
And so at this point, we're going to open it up for questions. I can tell you, I'll start by saying we've got questions too, and we're getting answers to those. We're doing our best. We're digging in. But we do, and I want to echo what my law enforcement partner said, we need the community's help. There were folks there on the scene, not folks that we couldn't identify necessarily at the time. We need to know who they are. Come forward. If you have a video, please share it. We want to do as quickly as we can a thorough investigation to get answers to those questions. And I know that I saw the first hand going up was in front of me, ma'am. You had a question?
Yeah, sorry. What do you, I mean, tonight, this doesn't sound good for protests tonight. Twitter is already saying what you guys are announcing today. You know, they were hoping for maybe charges when you guys stepped out here today because we're not getting charges. Are you worried that that's going to ignite more riots tonight?
My hope is that getting it out through you, that the community will understand that we are taking this seriously, that we're working as quickly as possible, so the community understands we don't announce investigations typically. As you in the media knows, it's unusual for us to come forward and tell you about an investigation. As the United States Attorney, we're counseled that we are not to talk about that until the time of the conviction, typically, or in some cases, perhaps charges. It's really imperative that the community understands how seriously we're taking this and how quickly and swiftly we are moving on this. And so my hope with that is that people will understand peaceful protests are always acceptable. That is the cornerstone of our justice system, is that people have the right to say how they feel and to talk about their feelings and to protest peacefully. But the obstruction and the destruction of property and harm to individuals has got to stop. We are one Minnesota. We're at our best, we're at our worst, and we've got to come together and stop the needless and unnecessary destruction of property and harm to human life. Sir.
Can I add something?
You may.
Yes. This state is well known and has a strong reputation for firm and thorough First Amendment advocacy. We support peaceful demonstrations. I had a long talk today with Reverend Jesse Jackson, who came at the request of Attorney General Keith Ellison and the governor, and I believe Reverend Jackson will be speaking and asking for peaceful protests today. Peaceful protest is good. It advocates our rights, and it also calls forth the witnesses that the United States Attorney wants us to come forward. Violence does not. Violence hampers our case. It takes valuable police resources away from our investigation, and it also harms innocent people who had nothing to do with that. It gets in the way of our work. So we're asking, please say what you need to say, demonstrate how you need to do. That is in our Constitution, and all of us believe in that. But please, don't destroy an innocent person's property who had nothing to do with it.
The problem is, sir, the video goes on for 7 minutes. He is clearly struggling to breathe during that time. And I think people will be hard-pressed to understand how you can bring charges at least against the officer who had his knee on that man's neck.
It's a violation of my ethics to talk and evaluate evidence before we announce our charging decision, and I will not do that. I will say this, that video is graphic and horrific and terrible, and no person should do that. But my job in the end is to prove that he violated a criminal statute, and there is other evidence that does not support a criminal charge. We need to wade through all of that evidence and to come through with a meaningful determination, and we are doing that to the best of our ability.
Mike, the National Guard is coming in. Can you give me your reaction on that?
Okay.
Reaction on the National
Just say.
Guard coming in?
When it comes to the African American community, and we're here, so a lot of us came down to actually call for peace. But when you guys are asking for them to be patient, they're saying that there was no patience when it came to George Floyd, when he begged and pleaded for his life. What message would you give us to take back to the African American community to bring peace and to ensure them that justice is going to be served?
I bring the same message that African American Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, is bringing. I'm bringing the same message of the Reverend Jesse Jackson. We have to do this right. We have to prove it in a court of law. And I will just point to you the comparison to what happened in Baltimore in the Gray case. It was a rush to charge, it was a rush to justice, and all of those people were found not guilty. I will not rush to justice. I'm going to do this right. And those folks who know me in the African community know I will do my very level best but I will not rush justice because justice cannot be rushed.
Thank you for that. It was wonderful to hear you say that you came down with other members of the community to ask for peace. And that's probably the most positive thing I've heard here all day. So I cannot begin to thank you enough for that. And to the extent you can share that, and you can share the integrity and the honesty of what we're doing and trying to tell you what's going on, please do, because we need you. We need the community. But it's really important that we emphasize that everybody in the United States is entitled to due process of law. And due process of law requires us, as prosecutors, as law enforcement officers, to make sure that we've done a careful investigation. And it requires us, as I told you, I tried as a judge, I presided over hundreds of cases, including first-degree murder cases. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that all your ducks are in a row before you make that charging decision. But you can't undo what you've done if you rush. But if you take that time, you're going to do it right the first time, and you're going to get it done the first time.
Mike, I have a question just about National Guard coming in now.
All right, folks, this is a news conference live taking place in Minneapolis with FBI officials and the U.S. attorney talking about what their process is. As you heard from people asking, wait a minute, you got a video showing that George Floyd was suffocated, essentially, by their cop. Why have they yet to be arrested? They were fired on Tuesday, but they have still not been arrested. Keep in mind, they can be arrested and charged with murder, and you can still continue the investigation and go to the DA's office.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Folks, we are unapologetic in supporting black businesses, and the folks at Ceek.com have a couple of great products. First off, this is their virtual reality headset. Mary Spio is a sister. She's from Ghana who created this. She is, of course, the inventor. And so what happens is you take your phone, and if you want to be able to watch this, there are like 360-degree videos on YouTube or even on their site, Ceek.com. And so what happens is you just simply slide this right into the tray and then close this up, and then you're able to put this in and see the content in 360 degrees. So whatever shot, let's say the camera was here, you can literally see all of this here, and then see what's all behind me and around me. It's a really, really great video. We're actually working on one right now, so y'all can actually see the whole studio here. We have the Roland Martin Unfiltered so you can go to Ceek.com for the virtual reality headset. But they also have these really cool 4D 360-degree sound headphones. And so what's great about these is that, first off, the sound is unbelievable, and the sound literally goes all around the head. Gamers really love this as well. So they have a detachable microphone that you can use for gamers, which is great. They're Bluetooth, plus they're also wired. And again, a sister, she's actually the creator of these. She's an innovator. And so here's the website. Pull up the graphic, please. Ceek.com, Ceek.com. And we have a code for y'all that y'all can use. And that is RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Use that code to be able to get these headphones. So again, go to Ceek.com, Ceek.com. And so support black-owned businesses.